In the village of Iza, surrounded by green hills and fertile farmlands, there resided a princess named Amara with her father King Arinze, who had ruled Iza for over 3 decades. From the day Princess Amara entered the world, she was enveloped in darkness, her sight stolen by an unseen force right from birth. The royal palace had tried everything to make Amara see. The king and queen never stopped visiting different places with Amara based on recommendation from people to make sure their daughter used her eyes. After so many trials, nothing seemed to work. Despite her affliction, Princess Amara possessed a spirit as luminous as the sun. Her kindness and compassion touching the hearts of all who knew her. As the king's eldest daughter, Princess Amara was cherished by her parents and adored by her people. Yet, behind the palace walls, she bore the heavy burden of her blindness, relying on devoted servants to navigate the world around her. Despite their unwavering support, Princess Amara longed for independence, her heart yearning to experience the world through her own eyes. She really wanted to see because her condition limited the places she could go to. She couldn't even walk around the palace. Her condition also left her with no friends, even though her parents, siblings, and the palace workers tried to make her feel good every single time. She still felt lonely. Amara would try to prove to herself countless times that she could walk and do things like others, but she would keep hurting herself in the process. Later on, Princess Amara learned that she could do nothing about her present state, and she just had to accept herself and the way she was. As the years passed, Princess Amara grew into a beautiful young woman, a woman of remarkable grace and beauty, her laughter echoing through the halls of the palace like a melody. Despite her flawless beauty, a shadow loomed over her future, especially when it came to marriage. Suitors came from far and wide, drawn by her beauty and royal lineage, but none dared to overlook the darkness that shrouded her vision and proceeded to asking for Amara's hand in marriage. It turned out that every suitor that visited trapped Princess Amara in depression because the rejection was too much for her to bear. She cried her eyes out every night, wondering how she would end up dying as a worthless lady without purpose. For Princess Amara, she felt her life was made for pains and agony. She could not stop thinking about her present condition, so she thought of a way to ease her pain, which grew by the day. Princess Amara decided to learn skills like dancing and knitting, and within a month, she became good at it. It could not just take away her pain, but at least it helped her reduce it. Princess Amara's hope slowly kept crawling out of her as she watched her younger siblings find love and companionship. While she remained trapped in loneliness, her tears flowed freely as she begged her parents for answers, questioning whether she was cursed to live a life that would always lack love and happiness. She went further by going on her knees with tears in her eyes, telling the king and the queen that if she did anything that brought the curse on her, she's ever ready to make apologies and make things right. But Princess Amara kept getting the replies that she did nothing wrong. Every night, she kept praying that God should end her life instead of letting her go through the never-ending pain. In a desperate bid to secure a future for their daughter, Princess Amara, the king and queen devised a plan to entice potential suitors. They announced a grand prize for any man brave enough to marry Princess Amara. They promised a well-furnished, luxurious mansion, 2 expensive cars, and a substantial dowry. The offer meant that the man who wanted to marry her would need to pay no bride price. The promise of wealth drew scores of men to the palace gates, each striving so hard for the hand of the blind princess in marriage. Due to the influx of men from the village and outside the village, the king had to announce a challenge to test the sincerity of the suitors. before marriage could be considered. Each man would be required to spend a year with Princess Amara, proving his commitment to her well-being. Many lost their momentum for the husband position to Princess Amara, fearing the responsibility of caring for a blind wife. They saw the task as a heavy load for them. Some of the men even said that they were tired of taking care of their blind daughter and they just wanted to drop her as a burden to them. Among the throng of suitors that came up and also went back, one man named Akunna stood firmly in his determination, his eyes sparkled with sincerity as he pledged his love and devotion to Princess Amara, promising to cherish and protect her for all eternity. Him standing alone, without staggering, after all other men left, convinced the king that he was the one that would marry their beloved daughter. The king and queen became so happy and excited with the new development of things. As the days turned into weeks and weeks into months, Akunna proved himself to be a paragon of virtue, showering Princess Amara with love and tenderness. Together they laughed and danced beneath the moonlit sky, their hearts entwined in a bond. Princess Amara grew fond of Akunna and could not stop loving him. She was so happy and thanked God for her parents' action, even though she never wanted them to do what they did. She was so grateful to God for making Akunna come her way, for bringing her that one person that was willing to marry her despite her condition. After a whole year, Akunna emerged victorious with the offers the king promised and also earning the king's blessing to marry Princess Amara. With joy in their hearts, they exchanged vows beneath a canopy of stars, their love shining as bright as the morning sun amidst the darkness of Princess Amara. As the days passed by, a shadow fell over their new-found happiness as Akunna's true nature began to reveal itself. Behind closed doors, he wielded his power over Princess Amara like a tyrant, aggressive and oppressive. His love twisted into something dark and evil. It was just as if Akunna looked for every chance to lay his hands on Amara. He beat her at every slight chance. Sometimes, he even beat her for no reason. He usually said, "You collided with your senseless parents to make me spend months of my life suffering. Now that I have achieved what I wanted, you will suffer more than I suffered, and you will see no peace." Amara kept on crying and weeping, hoping that Akunna would come back to his normal self and start treating her like the way he did when he was undergoing his trial at the palace. The maid who came from the palace with the couple became a silent witness to Princess Amara's suffering. The maid could no longer bear the weight of Princess Amara's silence. With a heavy heart, she sought solace from the palace. She called someone in the palace. She spoke with fear and apprehension. The maid talked about the current situation in the house, how the princess has turned to a punching bag for her prize-winning husband, Akunna. After the call, the information was immediately passed to the king. Upon learning of his daughter's plight, the king took swift action, removing Princess Amara from the clutches of her abusive husband, placing her under the care of the palace physicians. As for Akunna, he was arrested and he remained in the police custody. Even though Princess Amara's body bore the scars of Akunna's cruelty, her spirit remained unbroken and her ability to bounce back from challenges and hardship showcased the depth of her inner determination. As Princess Amara languished in the safety of the palace walls, her thoughts turned to Akunna, torn between love and hopelessness of getting another man to marry. Despite all Akunna's betrayal, a part of her still longed for the warmth of his embrace, her heart unable to let go of the memories they had shared. She wanted Akunna back, since he was the only one that had ever shown affection and love towards her, despite her condition. She told the king and the queen that she wanted him back, but they paid deaf ears to her. Whispers of Princess Amara's situation spread far and wide and reached the ears of a mysterious stranger named Chike, a warrior renowned for his bravery. He possessed knowledge beyond the realm of mortal men. Driven by a sense of destiny, Chike journeyed to the kingdom of Iza. He met with the king Arinze and introduced himself to the king and expressed the love he had towards Princess Amara. He was met with suspicion by the king. He was not even allowed to finish what he was saying. The king ordered the guards to throw him out of the palace. The king never wanted what happened to his daughter earlier to repeat itself. He cherished his precious daughter so much, even with her condition. Chike persisted with his unwavering determination, fueled by a vision of Princess Amara's radiant smile and his fervent desire to heal Princess Amara. With each passing day, his resolve grew stronger and he never stopped showing up in the palace, even though the king never wanted to hear what he had to say. Finally, after so many more trials, the king gave Chike a chance to talk, and the king heard something that shocked him. With full confidence and belief, Chike told King Arinze that apart from his interest in marrying the princess, despite her blindness, he could also make the princess see again. The king was so shocked because they had tried everything they could to heal the princess. What could a warrior do to heal a blindness that has been there from birth? Despite the king's disbelief in what Chike wanted to do, he hurriedly granted Chike an opportunity to prove the sincerity of his intentions. Armed with ancient knowledge passed down through generations, Chike was led to Princess Amara. He approached her with a promise of hope. With trembling hands, Chike applied the sacred ointment to Princess Amara's closed eyelids, muttering words of healing into the stillness of the room. As she drifted into a peaceful slumber, the palace held its breath, awaiting the moment of revelation. Hours passed, like fleeting dreams, as Princess Amara lay enveloped in the embrace of a deep sleep, her spirit suspended between worlds. Within the depth of her unconsciousness, a transformation took root, blossoming like a flower, unfurling its petals to the dawn. The hours turned into days, and everyone in the palace was so worried, but Chike was calm because he knew that Princess Amara's recovery process was just taking place. After the second day of Princess Amara's deep sleep, it was as if by divine intervention, Princess Amara awoke to a world bathed in light. Her once sightless eyes now filled with the beauty of the natural world. Tears of joy streamed down her cheeks as she beheld the faces of her loved ones. The smiles on their faces served as evidence of the miraculous event that has just occurred. In the wake of Princess Amara's miraculous recovery, the kingdom rejoiced, their hearts overflowing with gratitude to Chike, the humble warrior who had brought light to their beloved princess. Amidst the celebration, a new chapter began to unfold, one filled with hope, love, and the promise of a brighter tomorrow. As the days went by, Princess Amara fell in love with her God-sent mysterious helper. She loved Chike with so much joy in her heart. As Princess Amara and Chike stood hand in hand, their love stood unwavering. The king and queen bestowed their blessings upon their union, their hearts filled with joy at the dawning of their daughter's happiness. Against all odds, Princess Amara and Chike embarked on a journey of love and discovery. Their bond became deep and went beyond physical experiences. Together they moved forward, guided by the light of their love and destined to live happily ever after. This story talks about holding on tight and not planning to end our own life, no matter how hard the current situation is, because there is always light at the end of the tunnel. Even though the breakthrough to whatever problem you're facing feels impossible, God will still make a way for you to smile. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to leave a like, comment your thoughts on this story, share the video and subscribe. See you on the next one.